Hello and welcome to Boxed with Lizzie. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Hi, my name is Hugo Schwarze. I'm 19 years old and I race an LMP3.
Well, Hugo, it is such an honor for me to interview you today, so let's get started. So, I want to first ask, how did you get into karting, into motorsports in general? Is there something in specific that inspired you to give it a shot, or did you just grow up watching it and thought to give it a try?
I actually only started 4 years ago, so when I was 15. I used to play hockey, but I had to stop because of a knee injury. And my dad decided to get me a racing simulator, and that's when I started to get into motorsport. And everything happened pretty quickly from then on.
Wow, that's really impressive that you started only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you used the number 85, and I wanted to ask, is there a specific reason or backstory on why you choose that number?
Yes, in France, the teams use the number of their postcode, the first numbers of their postcode. So that's why actually, yeah, I didn't know that when I first started with the number 85, but the team told me along the way.
Oh, wow. Do you have any pre-race rituals or superstitions or stuff that you do specifically before or after a race?
I don't really have superstitions because I believe if I do something and then a race doesn't go well and I start off overthinking, it doesn't really make sense. But obviously, you do have a routine, and that is just my warm up. And I just start to focus while doing this warm up. It's always the same. It's the same routine. Sometimes I listen to music, sometimes not. Depends on the mood I am, or depending if it's qualifying, a race or practice session. But that's just really what gets me focused before a race.
Do you have a specific pre-race playlist when you do listen to music, or do you just shuffle your like
Also,
songs on Spotify?
also depends on what the session is. If it's a race, I like to hear a bit more aggressive music, let's say, or a bit more hype music. If it's qualifying, a bit calmer, just to keep me focused. I don't want to overdrive the car in qualifying.
Now I have to ask, do you have any specific like artists that you listen only on race days or only on qualifying days?
Um, I would say race days, it's more like, oh, let me quickly get up my Spotify playlist. I've got a pre-race playlist. Um Stormzy, Drake, Yeat, Kendrick Lamar, Chief Keef, Ken Carson. It's quite like upbeat. But yeah, I like it.
Yeah, well, they're all very good artists and very good songs. So, how did it feel to get your first podium? Did you have, like, when you were doing that race, did you think you were going to win? Did you not think? Can you just sort of walk us through it, walk us through the mindset as if we were on the podium with you?
Yeah, so my first podium was back in karting. It was my first third ever karting race, and it was my home track, Kerpen, so where Vettel and Schumacher actually grew up driving. So it was a very special place. My family came to watch, some friends came to watch, and the weekend looked good from the beginning, but obviously you never know until you actually stand on that podium. But it was a great feeling crossing that finish line in third place, and just seeing everyone cheer me on.
I can imagine. It sounds like a beautiful feeling. Speaking of family, how did your family react to your motorsports dreams? Were they supportive? Were they a bit unsure, considering that you go at an insane speeds? I'm sure I would be a bit nervous.
They're definitely nervous. I don't think they like to admit it in front of me. But I've seen videos of my race starts where they get very excited, let's say. But no, they support me fully, which is obviously amazing for me, to have that kind of support from my family. They watch me every race weekend, which is amazing as well. They support me in everything I do. Um, but I guess if I chose another sport, they wouldn't be unhappy either, because there is quite a lot of risk involved in motorsport as well.
That is true. That is true. So, do you have a favorite track or favorite area, favorite country of racing or something like that?
I love racing in England. I think the fans are great. There's just a great vibe in general. I've raced in England for the past 2.5 years. Not anymore now. I've moved on to more European races. And then I would say a specific track, Nordschleife for sure. I live 1 hour from it. It's
Hmm.
where actually where my love for motorsport grew.
Oh, wow.
I used to watch the 24-hour race of Nürburgring every year, and I just fell in love with motorsport then on. And I've actually done my permit B last year to drive on the Nordschleife, and hopefully I can do some more races this year. It's just an amazing track.
Did you watch a lot of motorsports growing up, or was that just something that you discovered later?
I did. I always loved cars. I think I got that from my dad. And then naturally I watched some Formula One races. I watched the races that were close to me, some races in Spa, some races at the Nürburgring, and that's just what got me into it, really.
Speaking of Formula One, do you have a specific team that you're cheering for? Do you have any drivers that you hope do
I'm
well?
I'm always supportive of the German teams, of course, but I don't really have one favorite team. And in terms of drivers, I really like Verstappen. I really like Alonso,
He's a fan. They're
um,
both really good
Bortoleto as
drivers.
well.
Fan
So
favorites.
yeah, I like their mindset and their racecraft. So yeah, I cheer them on.
Do you have any people you look up to, like certain Formula One drivers or other endurance drivers?
For sure. Two of my favorite drivers are or were, I mean, Sebastian Vettel. He obviously doesn't drive anymore. But when I
Very
when I
sad.
started to watch racing, it was when he won his championships with Red Bull,
Oh, wow.
and I loved how aggressive he was on track, but also what a person he was off track. And it's very important also for me to be ruthless on track, but off track be a kind human being, and that's what he represents. And then in terms of endurance racing, I would say Jules Gounon and Kevin Estre.
So, what are you hoping to achieve in racing? Are you hoping to stay in endurance racing, maybe move up the ranks, go to Formula One, or is there something in specific, or are you just also going with the flow because that also works too?
First of all, I'm going with the flow. I mean, you never really know where you're gonna end up, so I'm just
That's true.
enjoying wherever it takes me. But I do, of course, have some goals. I mean, I definitely want to race in hypercars in the future, to race in the 24 Hours of Le Mans and win that race as well. That's one of my dreams. Of course, Formula One is also a dream. Um, but obviously, as you probably know, there's many different aspects that count towards that. And I think obviously I'll give it my best shot, but that will be quite difficult.
If you were in Formula One, do you have a team that you would like to race for, or a team that you wouldn't like to
I
race
guess
for?
I guess whatever team would be most competitive at that time, obviously I want to win. But no, I think I'd enjoy
As
racing
everyone.
with Audi actually. Yeah,
Hmm,
yeah,
that's surprising. I don't get
yeah.
a lot of people that want to race with Audi. It's mostly a lot of Ferrari or Red Bull.
That's true. I mean, at some point I'd want to move on to Ferrari at
As
least for a bit.
everyone. I know I
As
would.
everyone, as
So
everyone, yeah.
is there something that surprised you about racing or something that you learned that you didn't expect about racing?
Well, there's so much I learned about racing that I didn't know before. I mean, when I got started in karting, I barely knew anything. And now as the years have gone past, I've just learned so much in all types of aspects. I mean, the sponsorship stuff that I as a driver have to do, then how to present myself online or in person, all of that, and then obviously all the technical stuff as well, which you have to learn, which isn't easy, of course. But something you get used to with the time.
Are you shocked that you've moved up so much? It's like since you only started at 15, is it like crazy to you that you've moved so far and that you've done so well in just
Yeah,
a like compared to people that maybe start at 2 years old or 3 years old?
when I look back at when I started, it's definitely surreal how far I've come and how quickly I've come this far. I think when I started in karting, it was always sort of, okay, let's try this, let's see how it goes, let's enjoy it. And then it started to get more serious and more serious. So it's actually good to look back. Sometimes I forget to look back, but it's quite important to do that. But yeah, it is quite surreal to see how far I've come in these couple of years.
Did you ever think you were going to make it this far, that you're going to take it this seriously, or did you start off thinking that it was just going to be a hobby? A very
I think I
impressive
started off
hobby.
thinking it was, yeah, I think I started off and I wanted to be a hobby, but having fun at the same time. And if something ever happens, then that's a huge positive. But I didn't think it would come this far, no. No.
No? Well, I have to ask again, how does your training schedule look like? Because you see a lot of what Formula One drivers go through, but you don't see a lot of people that don't do Formula One that do different types of racing. And I'm really curious, can you walk us through like exactly how training is and when you train and how you train and everything?
Yeah, of course. So I'm in the German national team. So they provide me with someone who makes a fitness plan for me. So it usually depends on the week if I'm doing any racing, if I've got any events coming up, sponsorship events or something like that. But if I've got a free week, it usually looks like a 3 week, 3 times a week running, 3 times a week in the gym, and then some like mobility and stretching stuff. So that covers like neck mostly, of course. So every day you do neck, and then the rest of the days it's just upper body, lower body, cardio, of course. So it covers all the aspects really. Yeah.
You have
And
some
then of
training
course sim
exercises
training.
that, do you have some training exercises that you prefer that isn't sim training, of course? I feel
Well,
like that would be the obvious answer.
yeah, that is the obvious answer. Yeah. I think I do like weightlifting. I think sometimes I enjoy cardio. It depends on what I'm doing really. If it's like a chilled run, I like it. But if it's interval training, it's super tough. So at the end, I'm always finished, happy that it's finished. But I do like weightlifting because it just feels good and like you've accomplished something at the end of it.
And on the opposite side of this question, what is your least favorite training exercise?
Intervals, yeah, definitely intervals. It kills me
Makes sense, makes sense.
every
So
time. Yeah.
you started racing at 15, so that means you were still in school. How did you balance school and racing? Were there any challenges, any struggles, any things that you struggled with?
Yeah, it was super difficult to be honest. I mean, especially when I started off racing in England, there was lots of flying involved. I did lots of testing in Genetic Juniors, so Genetic Juniors was probably the year where I did the most testing, because obviously testing was the cheapest in those categories. So yeah, it involved lots of flying, so I wasn't at home a lot, and I went to school in Cologne. So always when I got back, I had to ask my teachers for the stuff that I missed, and it was painful because sometimes I didn't receive it, sometimes I received it, and I started to drop back in terms of what I could learn. And then I did my IGCSEs and moved to an online school, which helped quite a lot actually. But still, in the off season, if you're stuck at home doing your A levels online, it's quite tough because you have to stay focused. And if I have a sim in the background, it's quite difficult to say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna do my schoolwork now and jump on the sim later instead of just jumping on the sim now.
Yeah, I can imagine. I feel like I would not enjoy concentrating. Are you planning on going to university or are you just going to stay with motorsports? Because I know a lot of
Um,
drivers have not done, so I'm curious to hear what you
yeah.
think.
Yeah, so for now, I'm not going to go to uni. I'm just going to see how my racing goes. I'm going to be quite busy this year with coaching. I've got a simulator job at a big manufacturer now, and obviously one or two racing series and then sponsorship events. So I think that's going to take up most of my time. If I started studying now, I couldn't really focus fully on my racing. So for now, I just want to fully focus on that. And then in 2 or 3 years, if it doesn't work out, I can still go to uni and do something else. But I'm gonna believe in my dream first.
That's true, that's true. As you should, as you should. So
Yeah.
is there something that scares you about racing? Because I feel like going at such high speeds, I think I would be a bit terrified. Even just watching it on TV, I get more scared than the actual drivers. So I have to ask, is there something that freaks you out, even if it's pre-nerves, pre-race anxiety or post-race like stress? But
Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm scared. I think if you're scared in the car, it's gonna go horribly wrong. I think you're not gonna be quick. I think it won't go well. Of course, there's some moments where I'm a bit nervous, like before the start of a race, but I think that's good. I mean, if you're not nervous before the start of the race, then you're not looking forward to it. You're not excited. It's a good kind of nervous. It's not like a scared kind of nervous. And then, of course, in some situations, if there's like a lot of rain and you can't see anything, you're like, oof, I can't see anything. This is quite dangerous. But at the end of the day, if I'm in the race car, I'm so focused. I think about it for one split second and then I'm back to full focus. So I wouldn't say I'm ever scared in the car, no.
it's like you're in a different mindset. You're just not there. You're basically one with the
Exactly.
car. Is there something that
Exactly.
you prefer about racing over other things? Like, is there one thing specifically about racing, like sponsorship events, or, apart from the race itself, that you prefer
Yeah.
more versus other things?
Obviously the racing comes first. I think races itself because I just love battling with other people. It's a good question. I do enjoy some sponsorship events. Like, I give taxi laps for my sponsor Vico at DTM weekends, and that's quite fun because I get to drive people around, and I get to look at the passenger seat and people either grinning or being a bit scared in the passenger seat.
Like
So I
it's
enjoy
fun to
that.
watch them get a little bit more scared. I feel like I would
Exactly.
have more
Yeah.
fun with that.
It is quite fun, yeah. But other than that, I just love working on the race weekends and working with the engineers and trying to figure out how to improve the car, and my driving of course as well. Yeah.
So I also wanted to ask this earlier, but how did you learn about karting? Did you have like a coach or an instructor, or did you just sort of jump in the cart and figure it out?
Great question. Before I started, I had no clue, like no clue of how to get into it. I was like, okay, who am I even going to contact? But luckily, my father had a friend who had a contact to someone whose kid raced in karting, and he gave us the contact to the team boss, and we wrote to him, and we asked, okay, can we do a test? And he was like, yeah, of course. And that's how I got into it. My first test day was in Kerpen, which is my home track, and I was quite surprised. It went really well for the first day. I think I did about 120, laps, so that was quite
Oh.
good for the first time in a kart. After that, my whole body was bruised, my neck was sore and everything. But of course, it was worth it. And that's how it all really started off.
So thinking back to your karting days again, how did it feel to go into the kart on your first ever race? Do you remember how that you were feeling? Do you remember like what happened that day?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my first race was the German Championship in Wackersdorf, so south of Germany, and competing against people who've got so much more experience than you. I mean, I was doing my first race. They will probably be in their at least their fifth year of karting. So I was like, I qualified quite well. I think it was P12 out of 25 people. So for my first ever qualifying, I was really, really happy. But obviously for the first race, I thought, okay, maybe I've outqualified myself. So I kind of got in my own head and thought, I'm probably going to drop back now, which I quickly turned around the weekends after in terms of mindset, because if you go into a race with that mindset, it just doesn't work. But I was quite nervous to be honest. But as soon as the race starts again, it's full focus and you're in the zone. But I can remember it was a lot tougher than I thought at the start. Everyone was quite aggressive in karting, but I quickly got used to that
Oh, it's very, very impressive, and I'm sure it's fun. It's good to look back at those memories. So, is there
for
something
sure.
that you would like to say to your fans and to people watching that support you, like your sponsors?
Yeah, for sure. I'm immensely grateful to all of my sponsors and all of my fans as well. Especially last year, I had many people come up to me at my race weekends or write me messages, supportive messages, and I was about to actually post an Instagram story about that. At Silverstone last year, I got a bunch of fan mail, which was really nice with handwritten messages, and that just gives me as a driver an even better feeling going into a race weekend, and just gives me a lot more confidence, which is great
I'm sure racing while having a lot of people cheer for you also improves the performance. So, we
for
have time
sure.
for one last question. What is something that you would like
Yeah.
to say to your younger self about your motorsports journey and about how far you've come? Just something that you would like to tell little 15-year-old you that was just starting.
Definitely keep dreaming, because if I didn't believe in that dream, then I wouldn't be here today. You always have to keep dreaming. And then stay focused, be dedicated, put everything you've got into it, because otherwise it won't work out. You have to be focused every day. You have to keep digging at it in all aspects, the sponsorship aspect, the fitness aspect, and obviously in the simulator as well. So keep dreaming, keep being dedicated, and I think most importantly, keep having fun. That's the main point.
It's very nice. It's really cute. That is all we have time for today. Hugo, thank you so much for interviewing you and letting me interview you. And I'll be linking everything about you, everything your Instagram and your website down below. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you very much for your time.
Till next
Thank you
time.
very much.